think I'm out of burp. Welcome, everybody, to Stay Tuned Sports. It's your boy, King. That's your good friend, Jimbo, right over there. Boy, summer really showed up quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
I am sweating like a fat guy. Because I'm a fat guy. I don't know if anybody knows that. By the way, thank you so much for joining us here at Stay Tuned Sports. Let's get all of this out of the way right now. Shameless plug time, everybody. If you want to help us out, three ways you can do that. Go ahead, hit that like button. Go ahead, hit that share button. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you are not already. Again, the shares help get more people here, which means more likes, and you get new people here. Maybe they subscribe. So just doing those three things, completely free, helps us out tremendously. Hoping to get to that 500 subscriber point at some point, so that we can be monetized, so that then we can be demonetized for the shit that we say on here. Also, if you want to help us out in a little bit more of a direct fashion with cash money, you can go ahead and do that over at our donation station and our merch store. Links for both at the top of the chat and in the description below this video. New merch all the time. Jimbo wore his Tush Push shirt last week. He's obviously not wearing the shirt this week because it's fucking hot. Yeah. But we got lots of stuff in there. More stuff. We got a new Chief Swifty shirt. We got more 8-bit helmets are coming. More like there's stuff there. There's coffee. There's mugs. There's banners. More banners are coming. So much shit's coming around. So you can go and do that as well. And again, donation station, if you want to go and help us out. Right now, Pecan's still in the lead with 35 donated dollars to your boys here. If you want to go ahead and beat that to get your name in on the ticker, you can do that and donate more than $35. Your name goes in on the ticker to replace Pecan. He's been a champion for almost a year now. He's up there. He's pretty good. But if you want more, you can do that. Again, you don't have to. If you want to do 5 cents, we'll take that. We will take anything. We are beggars. They say beggars can't be choosers. We're begging. We're not choosing. Whatever you want to donate. If you want to donate bits of string, I guess we could do that as well. And as you can hear, Jimbo's air conditioner fully on blast, really helping to help with the audio of this show. I don't know if anybody can really tell about that. The audio of the show is going to be fantastic right now. I'm just letting you know that right now. But yeah, there we are. Jimbo, how are we doing? Obviously, you're...
Yeah, so you got the AC going, you got the ice machine making ice.
Yeah, you know, some people, and I don't know if you know about this, some people, they're called professionals, would turn that shit off. Not here, ladies and gentlemen. Not on Stay Tuned Sports. Fuck that.
Here's the thing. When I first got it, I did. And obviously, I like my Jameson on the weekends, on the rocks.
Right.
And so I'd shut it off Wednesday during the show. Only to come Friday and realize, oh, shit, I didn't turn it back on. So I had no ice. So now I just said, screw it. It's staying on.
So, but that's your fault.
I know.
Just remember when you're done with the show to put it back on.
It's old age.
I'm older than you are. I still remember I remember some shit. Not a lot, but I do remember some shit. Yeah. Not a ton. Not a ton. A couple things to talk about this week, actually, and in comparison to last week, which was just kind of a free-for-all. But this week, you know, get to partake in a favorite pastime of many NFL fans, shitting on the Bengals. We're going to go ahead and do that in a little bit. By the way, Hamster in the chat, ELS in the chat. Hello, boys. Great to see you. Always there for us, always supporting us. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much. And as I say, we also have a poll in the chat if you want to go ahead and vote in that, which goes to kind of the topic of today. Well, the main topic. We'll be touching on a couple other things. We'll be putting our fingers in a lot of pies here. Take that as you will. Will the Bengals win 9 or more games this season? Yes or no? Well, yes, Burrow will drag them to wins, or no. That's what we're looking at there. Right now, 75% is on yes, that they will, and that Joe Burrow will go ahead and drag them to more wins. Now, here's the thing. Bengals, offensively, looking good.
Oh,
You know, you got Joe Burrow, you got T. Higgins signed up, you got Chase signed up. Everybody's locked up there. You are offensively, you are set for the next couple of years. You are all right. We got that done. We don't have to worry about that. We got our big three, as it were. You know, in Cincinnati. There's a problem. And it's the same problem that kind of showed up last season. I don't know if anybody paid attention to the Bengals last season, where Joe Burrow, in my mind, still probably should have been the MVP, but almost single-handedly dragged the goddamn Bengals into the playoffs. Their defense is give it a lot of points. You know, was a real battle for the Bengals in every game. As you look at Joe Burrow's stats, and it's like, my God, how is he not? That looks so, you know, the stats were so big and so impressive, and you know, turns out when your defense gives up 35 points a game, not great. So now the one good key piece that the Bengals had on their defense, I believe he had 17 sacks last year, and like 17 or 17 and a half the year before. Trey Hendrickson, just a unanimous All-Pro. Everybody loves him. Great guy in the locker room, from what everybody says. 100% great guy. He's looking for a new contract. I believe he's going into his last year of his contract here. He's looking to, you know, get paid as he should, as anybody else would, as you notice. And of course, the Bengals and Mike Brown dragging their feet as per usual. The Bengals have a reputation of being very penny pinching, of being very frugal when it comes to their. I mean, that was the hilarious thing, because everybody was always worried about the Bengals with Joe Burrow. It was like, oh, Joe Burrow, he's going to play there for 3 years and then be gone, because the Bengals, they don't pay anybody. They're never going to pay him the money that he needs. They're never going to pay the people around. They're never going to pay all that. Sure enough, they ended up selling name and rights for the stadium, which Mike Brown said he was never going to do. He wanted it always to be Paul. He wanted it to be his dad's stadium. He wanted it to be Paul Brown Stadium forever and all that kind of stuff. Well, you got to pay. You got to pay your players. You got to get income somewhere. So it became Paycor Stadium, and they paid Joe Burrow, and now they've paid their offensive weapons. Now it's time to go ahead and pay some kind of foundation on that defense so that you can go ahead and build that. And they decided no, to the point where he's holding out, where they're taking trade discussions for an all-pro defensive lineman. Your thoughts on the Trey Hendrickson part of this situation here, Jimbo?
So, like a couple weeks ago, he was on the Pat McAfee show, and this is the one piece that I think we all got to remember too. And he came out and said how there was no communication between him and the front office, and he was in the same situation that he is now. He was in last year, wanted a new deal, this and that, and he said that they basically said to him, "Listen, you play out this year for us, we'll take care of you next year." And like a good soldier he is, said, "All right, I'll do it." And now that it came time to pay him, they're like, "Eh." So I'm actually on his side this time around, because like, don't say you're going to do something and then when he has a good season.
I'm going to cut you off right there, because I'm going to say this just from my perspective. I am on anybody's side other than the Bengals front office.
Okay.
I am on Trey Hendrickson's side 1,000%. First of all,
Yeah,
100%. Simply because of the numbers he's putting up, the productivity he's had on a bad defense.
yeah.
He's been the bright spot on a very bad Bengals defense, as we saw last year. So when you have key pieces like that, you keep them around, you pay them, you make sure that they're happy. The Bengals seem to like dragging their feet on this shit. It's something they've done their entire existence. From Paul Brown was notorious for this. Mike Brown is no different. And you figured at some point maybe it would change, but it will not. ELS in the chat says the Packers will go ahead and take Trey Hendrickson. So would anybody. Anybody would love to have Trey Hendrickson. Let's be honest. So and that situation's been happening now for the last couple months, And Trey Hendrickson he's had a kind of semi-impromptu press conference about it. He has stated his case very well, I thought. Wasn't overtly, mean, which he very much could have been. Wasn't very, wasn't disrespectful. He's just like, I feel like this is what I'm owed. And yeah, I get it. So now let's take everybody back a little bit. Let's go back a little over a month ago to the NFL draft. Almost 2 months ago now, jeez. Yeah, to the NFL draft. Let's go to the NFL draft. Why am I saying we're going to the NFL draft, Jimbo? Well, because in the NFL draft, I don't know if anybody remembers, the Bengals went ahead and picked Shemar Stewart. I think that's how you say his name. Shemar? Is it Shemar? Is that how you say his name?
Do you really want me to try? You're better at it than I am.
I want to make sure that I get it right because I believe it is Shemar. Yeah, it's Shemar Stewart. So I just wanted to make sure I got the. I didn't want to be like it's like something else. And because I don't know if anybody knows this or not. I've been known to fuck shit up occasionally. Occasionally. Pronunciations, stat lines, things like that. Again, two drunk guys in a bar talking. That's what we are. We're not experts. We're not analytics people. That's not what we do. Again, we barely know names. So they go ahead. I believe it was the 17th pick was Shemar Stewart. Many people in the biz observed that maybe this was a pick that the Bengals were making to replace Trey Hendrickson. So that, they'd be able to get rid of him, and then they'd have somebody else on a rookie contract, a cheaper contract that they would be able to have for another 3-4 years, as per Bengals' apparent, modus operandi. That's how they fucking roll, and do that, to do it on the cheap. Well, lo and behold, they're trying to pull shit with the rookie. As we've been hearing, and some more stuff has been coming out about this, apparently the Bengals, beyond everything, beyond lowballing him, beyond what was the numbers for the 17th pick over the last couple seasons, paying him, trying to get him to sign a contract that was undercutting him on that. Apparently, there was also a new clause that they wanted to put into this contract. It would have been a first time ever clause. Oh. Yeah, they wanted. It's kind of a testing the waters, testing it out, see how it works. Kind of like the Browns did with Deshaun Watson and a fully guaranteed contract. Boy, that didn't work out as an experiment, and that's why that'll never happen again in the NFL. They should fully guarantee NFL contracts. No, they're never going to do that again. But apparently, what this little clause was. Now, here's the thing. There have been clauses before where if somebody gets injured during their contract, it'll void that year depending on when you get injured and how long it is. Like if you got a season-ending injury after week 1 or week 2 or something, it voids that year, so it keeps the year on there, or that kind of shit. Contract shit, legalities, litigious. I know words. Objection, sustained, overruled. But apparently what the Bengals wanted to do with this was if he got injured at some point in his contract, it would completely void the entire contract. The whole thing. And Stewart said, no. And again, this is after undercutting him. This is after saying they were going to try to pay him less, which he said no and decided to hold out of OTAs. Now we're getting to minicamp, and we do have that clip. If we could jump on, we'll listen to him. I want to listen to. So I want to ask you about what you think of this situation, and then we'll listen to what Shemar. There we go. Shemar has to say. That's the way I wanted to say it. We'll hear what he has to say. He had a kind of a bit of an impromptu press conference as well. But Jimbo, we heard your thoughts about what the Trey Hendrickson situation was like. What are your thoughts about Shemar?
He's in a better situation than Hendricks because Shemar doesn't have a contract, so he could hold out the whole season and re-enter the draft. Bengals will lose that, this past year's draft pick, and then Shemar could get drafted by somebody else and sign the right way. For the Bengals to try to put that clause in, that's it makes no fucking sense.
Here's at this point, it almost feels like they're fucking with him.
Yeah,
it almost feels like it's personal. It almost feels like they're personally trying to fuck with him, and that's how you want to start off your relationship with this player. This is how we're starting this all off.
Yeah,
is first of all trying to undercut him on the contract numbers, and then trying to put in an Jesus Christ. An unprecedented clause. There we go. The English language. It's working today. Very nice. ELS in the chat says, what? The Bengals are idiots. That seems to be the general consensus around not just league circles, the insider circles, media circles, but just fan circles. Everybody seems to just be like, Bengals, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? There's no reason for any of this. But here we are. So let's jump over. I want to show this. Oh, there's Aaron Rodgers. Why is Aaron Rodgers showing up there? No, we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers later in a second. Hey, everybody, there's our stuff there. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what Shemar had to say. Let me pull this up here.
I actually have no idea. I really don't know.
What have you been doing to stay locked in?
Can you hear that?
And
Yeah,
there's only so much that can replicate on the field reps, but what have you been doing to make sure that you're actually locked in when you're out there, knowing that you can't do anything?
I still go to meetings. I still study my playbook. Take down the right notes, and then whenever I get some free time, I go out to train at Black Sheep.
So he's staying in shape. He's doing a responsible thing.
Practice field and practice until you're signed.
Yes. Very bad. I mean, I've been doing this for most of my whole life, and then all of a sudden it's gone over something very simple to fix. And it's kind of disappointing.
Have they given you any answers as to why they're choosing this year and you to set a new precedent?
If I really wanted to say, I can't say what I really want to say.
That's a great question, though. Do you have any idea why they're choosing you to go ahead and do this?
Do you think, from a player standpoint, to be on the field for training camp?
It's very important. I mean, you gotta get your body somewhat prepared to play football. Especially me coming from college to the NFL is a way physical game. Even though I played in SEC, which is very physical, but nothing compares to actually playing in the NFL. So I thought I'd be on the field by now. That's what I thought.
That's a smart answer. I like this kid. He's got good, concise, smart answers. Smart, he's very he knows what he's not dumb. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. He's always gonna stand with me, no matter what. And just know you're doing the right thing. Like some people say, we'll all agree Trey will be right? But technically he's still 1% wrong for being under contract. So in my case, I'm 100% right. So it should be a no-brainer. And in Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too.
Yeah.
I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that. But
No, Shemar, the Bengals do not operate like that. That is not something they do.
Has this experience soured your taste for the Bengals?
I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I'm still new here. We still have a long future ahead of us.
What's your communication
talk here and there.
It's not exactly
Mentally, no.
ringing
Physically,
endorsement of the head coach.
Sorta. Not really.
Yeah.
No. I still work out. I feel like I'm still in good shape.
How do you make sure that you're ready to go?
Oh, I'm always ready to go. I've been staying ready to go. I mean, it's my job now. I got no choice but to be ready to go.
So that's the gist of what he was saying there. And I like some of the stuff he said too. He said even when you look at Trey's situation, he's like, you could say it's like he's 1% wrong because he is under contract, so he should be here if you wanted to be an asshole. But he's like, that's not really the case. He's like me. He's like, I got nothing. I'm not under a contract, and the shit that they're trying to do to me, I'm 100% right for where I am. So like that's not a case, and he is 100% right.
And that's why I gotta give him credit for that one statement he said. I guess the reporter asked something like, "You got anything to say about the front office or whatever?" And he said, "What I want to say, I can't say."
Oh yeah, because it was like, why do you think the Bengals front office is using you to test out this new clause that they want to do? Why do you think it's this year and you now? And he's like, yeah. So I wonder what that reason could be. I don't know. Maybe they thought part of me makes me wonder if they just thought he was dumb. Like he's just a dumb jock or something. He's just like, oh, we'll just throw it in there. He'll be like, oh, I'm so happy to be the NFL and do all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, like, listen, not only are they doing that, but like I said, on top of the undercutting of it, like if they had paid him what the going rate was for his 17th overall first round draft pick would be, maybe there's a discussion. Maybe it doesn't feel so disrespectful. But on top of the undercutting, to then have that clause put in there, it honestly feels like they're just fucking with him.
Yeah, and here's the other thing to remember about this too is like if he was drafted to replace Hendricks, who's probably going to get 20 to 25 million a year wherever he goes, whether it's Bengals or somewhere else, this kid is probably only going to get 10 to 15 a year. So you're saving 10 million even if you just offer the average salary for that pick. And then, like you said, if you want to throw this stipulation in there, then you could work with that.
You would have a better if I was him, I'd still hold out and say, you're not fucking. Well, yeah. I am not being a guinea pig for this shit. I'm not doing it. But like you'd have a better leg to stand on. It wouldn't seem as disrespectful. You know, whereas it's like, we're not going to pay you nearly as much as the last couple of first round picks have been paid. Also, if you get injured, we're just going to tear up the contract and you can go home. Like that. What? Like what the fuck? What? Like it's I don't understand it. If just from the, I would love to hear a Bengals fan. Like I used to work with a Bengals fan. When I worked in radio, he was a big Bengals fan, and he suffered through all the bungle years, and he's done all that. And it seems like they got Joe Burrow. They had a whiff of success. They got to the Super Bowl where he dragged them there because their offensive line was fucking trash. And their defense wasn't much better. It got better, but it wasn't much better. And as we've seen, like the Bengals, outside of Joe Burrow and Chase and Higgins, and when they had Mixon, I loved Mixon, and then they got rid of Mixon. And then Mixon goes down to Houston and goes fucking bananas. You know what I mean? It's like, why? You know, because Bengals. At this point, it just feels like because Bengals. And it part of me feels like we're gonna waste Joe Burrow. Like we have this incredible, talented kid who. And yes, I still call him a kid because I'm 43, going on 44. He's always going to be a kid to me because I'm so fucking old. So he's like, he's in his like fifth year going to the NFL. I'm old.
Still, it's 26, 27 years old. I mean, that's still a kid.
I don't even think he's that. I think he's younger than that. I think he's like 25, maybe. I don't know how old Joe Burrow is, but either way, he's like a full 20 fucking years younger than I am. So So yeah, but they have this kid. Like he's got so many more years to play if he can stay healthy with that fucking offensive line. And you're wasting it. You're wasting his talent. You're wasting Higgins and Chase's talent. So part of me almost feels like when it comes to those three, like they're just having a meeting. They're just like, listen, we're gonna have to put up fucking 60 every game. All right. So this almost feels like it would be like, you know, they're gonna start playing Madden. It's all go routes all the time. Just go. Everybody's just all goes, and we'll see. We'll see how we get there. But Joe Burrow's 27. Thank you, Tony Blaze, in the chat. Great to see you, buddy. Thank you so much. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe if you like what you're watching. But Joe Burrow, 27 years old. He's only 27. And in today's NFL, that means he could still have another 15, 17 years to play. Yeah. You know?
Like he's just getting into his prime.
So, and that's the part that kind of hurts me is like, man, it's seeing talent like that go to it's one thing where it's like somebody could potentially have talent and it's just like, man, it just didn't work out. Like I look at Daniel Jones and I love Daniel Jones, and you know I'm rooting for him in Indianapolis now. I'm going to root for him. I always did, but just things didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it's like he could potentially have been good. He had the legs, he has the arm strength to an extent. You know, it's just probably has a little bit of PTSD because of the offensive line. So just things just didn't work out. I understand that, and so it's like, man, sucks. You know, you really wish you could have seen something from him, but it didn't work. But with Joe Burrow, we know what's there. We saw what he did at LSU. And now we've seen what he's done with this Bengals team that has been put together with bubblegum and tape. And it's like if you just spent some money on the other pieces, if you got some pieces on defense, if you got some offensive linemen, if you were able to build somewhat coherently, you really would have something, you know, and because that's the thing. Even with the way they are, they almost made the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
they they gave everybody in the division a fucking headache. The Ravens beat them twice, but it took them overtime twice to do it because again it was fucking shootouts because they were just killing each other because. While the Ravens have a good defense and a good defense against Joe Burrow, they were still giving up 35, 37 points. Or I think in the one game it was like 40-something points. With the Bengals defense, it was open door policy. You know what I mean? So I just...
just add on to what you just said there, like, they don't need a superstar defense or superstar offensive line. They just need average. I mean, like we said, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, them alone will put up 30, 40. So you just need a defense that could hold it to 20, 25 points. Just average.
And by the way, Tony in the chat helped us. Again, it's not 27, he's 28. Even still, he's still, getting right there into his prime. So it's that's the shame of it, is that you're going to have a quarterback who's going to be that good, and it's going to feel like a way. It's almost good to me. It almost feels like if anybody, Jesus Christ, again, I'm aging myself here. But anybody who saw Boomer Esiason in his days with the Bengals and even with the Jets, great quarterback, was the NFL MVP. I think in one of those years, I forget, 80, was it 88, 87, 88, somewhere around there. I know he was MVP somewhere. Maybe this year that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, almost beat the 49ers, kind of the way that the Bengals almost beat the Rams. Great talent. They did a lot of shit that year that looked good, and then it was just, all right, yeah, but now we're not paying anybody. We're not going to do anything. And eventually they got rid of Boomer. Yeah. They sent him off to the Jets, which another fantastically run franchise, if I might say so. Poor Boomer. Boomer's career was he went from the Bengals, and then he went to the Jets, and then he went to the Cardinals. Maybe the 3 worst run organizations in the NFL, and especially at the time, the Cardinals under Bidwell were atrocious. So it's just. So I'll ask this because, again, next week, ladies and gentlemen, the countdown starts. We're going to start doing a countdown. Me and Jimbo will start with our number 12 power-ranked team going into the 2025 season. Yeah, we're already there. We are already there. We're only 12 weeks out, so we're starting next week. That is when that's going to happen. So a little maybe peak. I don't know if either one of us are going to have the Bengals in our top 12. Maybe we don't. I don't know. But also coming up in a couple weeks after that, we're going to be having, obviously, the division predictions, Friday forecast. I think we usually do. I don't know if we're going to change up the format of that or not, but that's what it's going to be. We're going to do the prediction for the divisions and everything like that coming up as well. A lot like my poll question asks, what do you see for the Bengals coming up? Will the Bengals get 9 or more wins? Will they be a playoff contending team? Or does this have dumpster fire written all over it?
I'm going to say a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
That's not the question. That's not the question. It's a simple. Will they be a playoff contender?
No. You said
will they be a dumpster fire? Will they get 9 or more? Will they get 9 or more wins? There we go. We'll just do the poll question. Will they get 9 or more wins or not?
They will get 9 wins.
So you're right. So yes, they will get 9 or more wins, is what you're saying.
But it's gonna be a dumpster fire the whole.
But that's not a play. Yeah, that's not a playoff team. Kind of what it was last year for them is what you're kind of predicting. Again,
nothing but drama.
You're playing on a razor's edge if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Like that has the chance to go off the rails very quickly, especially with that. And then especially if, let's say, and they have a history of it, of either Jamar Chase or T. Higgins being hurt, injured at some point in the season. If Joe Burrow gets injured because the offensive line can't fucking protect, if something like that happens.
Oh, God.
Like that it could, and then even if they do stay healthy, you're going to get to the point where, yeah, the Bengals are going to put up 31, 35, 37 points a game, but they're going to lose 42, 35. They're going to lose 48, 37. Like, you have to invest something into your defense. You have to do something. Yeah. And this, I saw somebody say that Mike Brown treats this more like fantasy football than actual football. And how he's trying to penny pinch, and he's like, should I spend $13 on this pick here, or should I just, if you're like one of those pay leagues or something, I just.
I mean, it makes sense because.
See, even Lennon, he's pissed. Yeah. Listen to him; he's screaming his head off.
Let me up Brown. Let me bite his butt and make sure he pays everybody. It just sounds like Burrow and Chase and T. Higgins. He's just hoping that they put up 100 points. And sprinkle in a point or two here for tight ends, and it does. It sounds like he's playing fantasy football.
And I got to say, ELS brings up, this is kind of the sentiment that I think a lot of people have. Is like, he sees the Bengals can get 10 wins. He kind of feels that's what it'd be. But he's like, I can also see the Bengals getting 5 or less wins. And that seems to be what it is. It's like the Bengals, they can get, I think, right there. They can be a playoff contending team right on the cusp. Can they do it? Maybe. I think that is a definite possibility. They could also be the Giants of this past year with 3 wins and fucking, having a top 2 draft pick. Because at this point, the locker room's got to feel fucking toxic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just laughing now because, like you just said about possibly, getting a top 3 pick or whatever like that. Back to square one. They're going to try to put some type of stipulation in a contract and, screw with the rookie trying to sign with them like they're doing this year.
I just don't understand the thinking of Mike Brown or the Bengals front office. And somebody also brought up a good question too. And especially for me over the last 18 months or so, It's an interesting question, and it really does give you pause. Are the Bengals the worst front office in the NFL? Some were saying sports. I'm going to hold off on that because there might be some worse. If you look at some hockey teams, the Dallas Mavericks currently, not a lot of people happy with their front office down there. I look over at my Tottenham Hotspur. They win a trophy for the first time in 17 years and fire the coach. Granted, they were almost relegated, but they did win a fucking trophy.
We're talking about sports, not some.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Small team.
Come on, you Spurs. Are the Bengals the worst front office in sports? And the reason I ask is because for about the last 18 months, me included, have been saying that title goes to the New York Football Giants. So if the Bengals want to take one for the team, I feel like that's something that we should consider.
It just popped in my head now. Like, this makes me want to do my list of who I think is the worst front office and who's the best front office, like a power rankings thing
of just how GMs and scouts, front office, owners who actually pay people,
Right here, right now, I mean, gotta say top 5, definitely a top 10 worst front office.
I would have to say, based on their history, based on how they've always been. Like I said, I think even the Cardinals, after Big Bill died, got better with the Sun and Charles. Maybe not a lot better, but I think they got better. They weren't quite as penny pinching. They weren't quite as notoriously frugal with their front office, with their contracts, and how they did things. The Bengals, from start to finish, from 1967 onwards, from Paul Brown to Mike Brown to whoever takes charge after Mike goes, they've always been like this. And I just think it's something that's systemic there. I think that's something that doesn't go away. Like with the Giants have had good GMs and we've had bad GMs. We've had good front office, bad front office. For the last 18 months, we've had a pretty terrible, bad fucking front office. To be fair, this last draft class, it seems on paper Joe Shane did well.
Okay.
We'll see. It's going to take a lot to overcome the Saquon fucking situation.
Yeah.
That's something that's going to hang over this franchise for a long time. The fact that you lost this guy over a series of absolute missteps over the last 2-3 years, and then he goes to your most hated rival and wins a fucking Super Bowl there while leading the league with over 2,000 yards rushing. Just count the fucking accolade. It's like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Which, by the way, also another accolade, and I don't know if you saw it in the ticker down below. Saquon Barkley overtook Patrick Mahomes as the #1 jersey seller in the NFL.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Saquon has the #1 selling jersey.
Now, just a quick question. Which jersey, the Giants or the Eagles one?
I really am going to, dude, if I could reach through the internet and punch you in the face right now, there would be violence. There would be violence. I just want to let you know
This
that.
hurts me more than it hurts you.
It's so terrible. But let me go back over here because I want to check something. I forgot. I gotta take this off here with old Shemar there. Let's take Shemar off. But let's go ahead and look at this. Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. Look at him. Oh, he's back. He throws down a DK Metcalf. Oh, look at DK. Oh, he cuts inside. Oh, what a catch. Oh, my God. Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Steelers, here we go. Okay, so.
I don't know. He looks a little slow there.
Geez, dude, listen. I love your sister.
I had to sneak it in.
I love your sister.
Yeah.
I was going to say something, and I'm.
I don't know if family watches this or not. So.
I wouldn't mind sneaking in there either. Oh! I couldn't help myself. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Anyway, love your sister. Anyway. Hi, Alice. We love you. She has the opinion of many Steelers fans, which is we don't want this. We don't want Aaron Rodgers. We would have rather Mason Rudolph starting for us. Which, first of all, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You did not want Shador, not Shador Sanders. Well, you didn't want Shador Sanders for you either.
Yeah,
although apparently Steelers fans were one of the fucking minded. They don't want Aaron Rodgers. They didn't want Aaron Rodgers there. We don't want Aaron Rodgers, everything like that. Even though Aaron Rodgers gives you the best opportunity to win of the options that you had available to you. I'm sorry, he did. So Steelers fans are, let's say, mixed. Your thoughts on Aaron finally signed? I mean, we all knew it was coming. There was maybe talk that he could choose retirement, but he said that going to the Steelers and signing with Mike Tomlin wasn't so much about the ego like his other ones, which was left him empty and wishing for fulfillment. This one was a spiritual choice. Going to the Steelers was a spiritual experience for old ayahuasca Aaron. Which I take a couple edibles. I am having spiritual experiences. Hamster in the chat, he knows what I'm talking about. Like you take a couple of those, you watch a couple of cool trippy videos, and next thing you know, you're knocking on the sky talking to God. I get it. But your thoughts on the Steelers getting this? Does this improve the Steelers' chance of not just making it? Because here's the thing, and I've said this from the jump. This feels like Tomlin's last season, unless they make a deep run. Like they can't just make the playoffs.
Yeah. And
you see, and again, a lot of the pessimistic Steeler fans out there are saying, we're going to get 4 wins. We're going to be done. Jens don't know. It's going to be over. It's going to Pamanti brothers, whatever. So your thoughts on, does this help the Steelers? Will they make the playoffs? And will they make a deep run with Aaron Rodgers? Can he stay healthy? What the weapons the only weapon right now that they seem to have is DK Metcalf. So can Aaron elevate the other receivers there that are maybe not, top name, top flight guys? Can he elevate them to a higher spot? And can the Steelers make that jump? Or are they going to be playing second fiddle to the Ravens again? Because don't forget, last year the Steelers had the North in control. They had, I think, like a 3-game lead at one point, and then they lost their last 5 games. Their defense, which was supposed to be their strength, fucking crumbled out of nowhere. Plus, also, by the way, TJ Watt holding out of camp, looking for a new contract. So there's that little bit to fucking talk about. I mean, there's a lot still going on here with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The thing with this signing, and you keep on saying that Tomlin needs to have a deep run to secure another year.
Oh, yeah.
By seeing that Aaron Rodgers only signed a 1-year deal, I think it's Super Bowl or he's fired. Because after this year, Rodgers probably going to retire.
Well, Super Bowl would be a deep run. So technically, not wrong.
Well, yeah. He's going to retire. So who's your future quarterback?
Is he going to retire, though?
I think so. He's married now. That's why
you saw the rate. Yeah, no, a couple of months. He's boy, by the way, Taylor. Travis,
don't do it. Don't do it, Travis.
Time's ticking. Listen. Time's ticking. You are riding a razor's edge between being husband to the biggest superstar in the history of the world and being another album. Choose wisely, Travis. Although, did you see the
album?
Did you see the picture? Apparently, they went to somebody's random ass wedding over the weekend.
And everything.
Not really. No, it was a very casual wedding. They honestly both looked like a Midwestern couple. Like they look like Barb and Jim from Mankato, Minnesota, or something. Like it was so weird looking,
Yeah.
and everybody's like,
That's why.
"Oh, but her dress is $2,000, and she's got a necklace that's $30,000." I was like, "Yeah, but she did all that to look like, Edna the housewife from Iowa." It was kind of funny how that all turned out. But yeah, Travis, come on, time to stay. You got Haley Steinfeld got married to Josh Allen. You got Aaron Rodgers getting married to somebody.
Do we even know? Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
I think he mentioned the name on McAfee. I think her name was it Erin or Ashley or something like that.
Okay.
Who he was dating at the time. Because he had said he said he was dating. He said he kept it all. He mentioned just her first name. That was it. And they were like, "Oh, congratulations! Oh, we love love. Everybody loves love. It's all great." And now we know he's married. So congratulations, Aaron, on the contract and on the marriage. Very nice, very nice. I hope she signed a prenup. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why Travis and Taylor haven't got married. That's gonna be the heaviest and lock-tightest of prenups in the history of fucking ever. But so my thought on it when it comes to the Steelers here, let's get back on fucking track here. Try to anyway, my ADHD brain here. Which, by the way, ELS in the chat says, "Oh God, I hate the Steelers now. Fuck you, Rodgers." Obviously, ELS, big Packers fan, so he's gone through the Rodgers circus a couple times, so he's got a bit of opinion when it comes to old A-Rod. Listen, this was the only move that the Steelers had. We've known it for months. That's why everybody, like Mike Florio, was fucking, "Oh, I'm so nervous. Is Aaron Rodgers signing yet? Oh my God, I don't know. I gotta make another post about Aaron Rodgers not signing yet." Oh, fucking Florio, man. But yeah, we all knew this was the inevitable outcome. This was where he was going. He wasn't going to go to, I know some people said the Rams were involved, and Sean McVay said, "Yeah, we had some conversations about it, but we really wanted to have Stafford back." Then people started saying the Saints once Carr retired or something like that. But like even in the midst of it, like when people were still saying, "Oh, the Vikings maybe," or the Giants maybe, like it seemed like those teams realized early on, is like, "Nah, he's going to the Steelers," and so that's it. That's why the Giants went and got Winston and Wilson, and now we got Jackson Dart, which, by the way, looks like it's a good pick. I'm telling you, Joe Shane might have.
Well,
There you go, and totally redeem yourself.
Hold on. Was it Shane or was it his kid that picked the quarterback?
That's true. See, we don't have the cameras there this year, so we don't know. Yeah. I'm going to make my guess and say it was the kid, because the kid, the kid's got some smarts on him. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. Oh God, hamster. Yeah, you're right about that. Speaking of the weddings, boy, Travis Hunter. And listen. People had worries about this girl from remember the game in Colorado where she was like, he went to go talk to her and she's like, don't fucking touch me. She was like, "God, get off me." He was like, "Oh boy, maybe it's time that you might have to start." Listen, you're young, Travis. You are young. You're about to go to the NFL. Don't. Oh boy, that's. And then on top of it, not doing a prenup, like Trav.
You know. Never mind. I'll just keep.
No, don't. We're not monetized yet, so we can't be demonetized, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, back on track.
Back on.
There we go. Back on the rails. This was the only place Aaron was going to go. This was the only. It was this or retirement. But on top of it, this was the only place for the like. It's not. This wasn't only the only place that Aaron could go. Aaron was the only quarterback that was really out there for the Steelers. Like, would you feel if you're a Steeler fan, if you're your sister, would you feel better with Kirk Cousins right now? Like, and I know somebody would say, "Yeah, sure, better than the circus that is Aaron Rodgers." I'd rather have the Colts cash guy than the guy who takes all the drugs. Whatever. But like honestly. Would you? I will still take a almost 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers that can still fucking pinpoint a pass. Listen, people are saying, "Oh, he can't move around the pocket." He never could move around the fucking pocket. What the fuck are we talking about? He was never the mobile guy. It's just so now he's not as mobile as a non-mobile quarterback was. Who? I don't get that. I don't get that. But you have Aaron Rodgers. You have a very good top receiver in DK Metcalf. That can work. I know some people were saying he might be trying to get some of his guys like Lazard and other people back over to Pittsburgh, but Lazard said he likes the Jets. He wants to stay there. Yeah. So it seems like Lazard's going to stay with the Jets for now. So even if it doesn't happen, again, I don't think the Steelers are going to burn the house down as far as, being 15-2 or something, as far as records wise. I think they make the playoffs. And I think they win a game. I do.
Well, here's the only thing I'll say. Before Rodgers signed, man, it was like a 50-50 of make the playoffs, not make the playoffs. Rodgers signs. All right, they can make the playoffs. But if they don't get TJ Watt signed and get him in there, and TJ Watt stays healthy, they're not winning in the playoffs. Even with Aaron Rodgers.
No, TJ has to stay healthy. First of all, I don't know what happened at the end of the season last year with that defense. But because, listen, everybody was like TJ was on there. Hayward was there. Like, you had everybody there, and teams just scored all over them. That Christmas game against the Chiefs was boring with how bad the Chiefs dominated them. And it's like, that's supposed to be their strength. And the last 5 games of the year, where they lost all 5 games and gave up the division to the Ravens when they had the division on lock, is like that's not only what, like, listen, we can understand, like, we all kind of went into it saying, like, listen, with Russell Wilson and with Justin Fields, it's going to have to come on to the defense to kind of do the heavy lifting here. That's how we all thought. And for that to be what failed in the last 5 games is crazy. Like that, like people want to talk about, oh, well, they should have taken Russell Wilson out and put Fields in or done something like that. It's like at that point of the season, maybe that does something. But at the end of the day, neither one of them is going to be putting that Steelers offense wasn't made for scoring points to outscore the other team. That team was made for scoring 14 points, 17 points, and having the defense hold the other team to 3 points, 7 points, 10 points so that they can win games. So when the defense started giving up 21, 28, 35 points, it didn't matter who you put in that quarterback. The Steelers weren't going to win those games.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but again, if the Steelers defense can play well, stay consistent, not stumble down the stretch like the Eagles of 2022 or 2023 it was, sorry. And if Aaron Rodgers can be somewhat productive with that offense, I think the Steelers go, like, do they win the division? I don't know. I mean, you gotta look at the powerhouse that is the Cleveland Browns with their 5 quarterback room. Clearly, the Ravens are going to be the favorite for that division. I get it. But, maybe the Steelers do something. I don't think. To me, I would honestly be surprised if it's an absolute abject failure. Now, again, an abject failure to Steelers fans and to the Steelers is different than to me. To them, an abject failure is not making it to the Super Bowl. As we said, a deep run. They do have to make a deep run. I think they will get to the playoffs. I think they'll win a playoff game. Does that mean do they get the bye? Are they the number 1 seed? Are they able to move on? Do they get to the AFC Championship game at least? Do they do something like that? I don't know. I think they get to the playoffs, and I think they win a game. Outside of that, I'm not going to make any grand predictions. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I will say with you, I do think because of all this, if they don't get to the Super Bowl, it might be time for Tomlin to move on, which is fine because, boy, there's going to be a lot of teams wanting to pick him up as head coach.
I see him taking a year or 2 off, though. I don't think he'll jump right back into it because he's been doing it for what, 20 years? Something like
Yeah,
that.
but ask a coach. I mean, listen, Bill Belichick was out of coaching for 1 year, and then he's going to coach college. Granted, because his 24-year-old piece of ass told him to, but
Supposedly.
that just gets so much weirder. It's just
It does.
Here's the thing, you would think the weird thing isn't even the fact that he's fucking 73 and she's 24.
Yeah.
That was the weird fact. That's not weird. That is not the weirdest part of that relationship anymore.
That's a
Do you know how fucked up it's got to be to where that's not the fucked up situation? Very interesting. Very interesting.
We always say it, but we're gonna have to do an episode because this is like 4 weeks in a row that towards the end of the show we make some type of comment about Bill Belichick and the weird situation.
Yeah, and listen. She's hot. Jordan Hudson's hot.
She's crazy though.
But there's a bit of I wouldn't say crazy. Manipulative, maybe a little bit of the the Black Widow, the sinking the claws and the fangs into stuff. Maybe there's a little something like that because there's a lot of people worried about Bill.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When it started out, people were like, "Oh my God, Bill's being a predator to this young woman," and now people are totally flipped on it. They're like, this girl might be just what is Bill of right mind? Like, what is this girl doing? It's a young woman can get you to do a lot of things, apparently. I don't know about that. Jimbo, NBA Finals happening. Series tied at 1-1. Boy, Halliburton. Oh, I'm sorry, Oklahoma City. Tonight's game 3. Yeah. So it is 1-1. Oklahoma City blew out the Pacers in game 2. Game 1, they were blowing out the Pacers, and then the Pacers come all the way back, and then again, Tyler Halliburton, or Tyree Halliburton, Halliburton, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
The arms dealer guy, So, I grew up, I remember the Iraq War, so I hear Halliburton, I think of Dick Cheney and arms sales.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton. He again hit another last second game-winning shot, which I think is his 4th one in this playoff, where he scored in the last 5 seconds or 3 seconds or something like that to either tie the game or take the lead. Unbelievable run for him. So it's 1-1. Indianapolis tonight. Who do you think wins tonight's game? And do you change your prediction about that? Because you said Pacers in 7.
Yeah.
I said Oklahoma in 5, which is we're both still alive for what are saying here. But do you tonight in Indianapolis, Thunder, Pacers, who you got?
I'm going with Indy. Watching the Pat McAfee show when I got home from work, the crowd's going to be on fire. So I think the players are going to feed off of that.
That can go one of two ways, though. You can get a little too juiced. You get a little too juiced, and then next thing you know, it's your you take a bit of a nosedive.
I still think the Pacers win. I'm still sticking with my Pacers in 7.
Okay, all right. Barring another Halliburton last second win, which can happen. That's always a danger. That's always in the chamber. I'm going to go with Oklahoma because, again, outside of that collapse in the fourth quarter in game 1, Oklahoma has owned this series, kind of like how I thought they were going to. And I think, especially after that bit of a collapse and Halliburton winning with 0.3 seconds left, I think the Thunder are sitting there like they're not going to leave it in doubt from this point out. So they're gonna put the foot on the throat and go. Meanwhile, over on the ice, Canada. They're not happy. The 51sters, they're not a happy bunch. As the Panthers, after having won game 2, the first 2 games at Edmonton went to overtime. Edmonton won game 1. in overtime. Game 2, Brad Marchand scored in double overtime to give the Panthers the win there after, I believe they were down 3-1. Then they came all the way back and ended up winning in double overtime 4-3 after tying it. And then in Game 3, down in Sunrise, Florida, just outside of Miami, holy shit, did the fucking Panthers lay the lumber onto the Oilers. And I got to tell you this, just from a hockey fan perspective and watching that game, the Oilers are mentally weak. They're a soft, mentally weak team. Florida got in their heads, and then they got chippy. We're going to start slashing and hitting and cross-checking, and we're going to try to do this. Once they got down 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, it turned into a goonfest. It's like they lost any bit of composure they had. It was gone.
Yeah. And
after seeing that, I'm like, it will be a miracle, I think, if this goes 6. I think I had said 6 before or 7. I forget. I think it might have been 6 that the Panthers would win. But it might be 5 now. Like I just, unless there's a massive, somehow like a mental turnaround there in that Edmonton locker room. And again, Skinner can play well. He has stood on his head before. He didn't do it last game. But that Game 3 beating showed a collapse of mental fortitude, of just like I said, composure, of just being like, okay, boy, this one got away from us. Let's regroup and come back. Instead, they were kind of like, and that's a hard thing to come back from. That's a hard thing to try to come back and be like, yeah, no, we'll be better. We'll come back. It's like they're already turning like, man, we're gonna go ahead and hit him, bing. You know, it just, it was such an obvious breakdown. As the kids would say today, the Oilers crashed out. They had a full-on crash out, and I think it'll take a miracle for them to come back. So I'm saying. Game 4, I think the Panthers win. And to be honest, if this comes back to Florida, it will be a big surprise to me. As it stands right now. Now, again, Edmonton can prove me wrong in this next game if they come out and show, hey, yeah, no, we had a bit of a breakdown. We're cool now, though. We took our pills. We're all right. But your thoughts on the Stanley Cup Finals before we get the hell out of here.
So I got to see it this past weekend. I didn't watch the 6-1 blowout. And much to your surprise, I'm going to slightly, and when I say slightly, this much, defend Edmonton.
Okay.
You said about them being mentally weak. Yes, they had the crash out. I saw the clips, from the cross checks and all that stuff. But don't forget, Saturday night, they were down 3-1 and fought all the way back. If they weren't mentally strong, I don't know why I keep saying mentally.
I did notice that. I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just like, that's your NEPA accent there.
Yeah. If they weren't mentally strong, they would never been able to come back 3-1, and then on top of that, make it.
Okay, but then the Panthers did it too, and that's it. Here's the thing: they got out to that big leading game too, and then the Panthers came all the way back.
Yeah.
And then that's what I mean is like, if you were looking for that, it looked like they had that momentum going. They won in overtime. They came back from Florida being ahead. And then they got the early lead against Florida in Game 2. And then Florida came all the way back. And then in Game 3, when Florida got up, instead of them fighting back again, it was a complete crash out.
Yeah.
And again, was it because they weren't on home ice? Was it because they weren't in Edmonton? Was it any of that? I don't know. ELS brought up a great point earlier. I did want to touch on this because I've seen a lot of 51sters complain about this. I know there's going to be Canadians out there pissed I call them 51sters. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. God bless America. Anyway, a lot of Canadians are pissed off. They're very upset because they think one of the reasons, because again, if you notice, the last 6 Stanley Cup Finals have had a team from Florida in it.
Okay.
The Panthers have been in the last 3, and the 3 before that were the Tampa Bay Lightning. So you've had Tampa Bay, Miami. So And Dallas has been consistently. They've either been in the Stanley Cup final or in the Western Conference Finals. They've, a lot of the Southern market, the not real hockey markets. Their biggest complaint is that those markets that are in U.S. states that don't have an income tax, the NHL should put a luxury tax on those teams so that their taxes match those of, the Canadian fucking communist 50% tax shit that they do up there, or the New York or California tax or shit like that. I think Tennessee doesn't have income tax either. Hamster can help me out with that. So I think that like Nashville falls into that as well.
Yeah.
My argument against that is lower your fucking taxes. How about that, Canada? How about you go ahead and cut them fucking taxes? That's a good way to change it. Instead of trying to punish the American teams that have say, and listen, it's not all the American states. Look at fucking the taxes in New York. Look at the taxes that if you play for the Rangers or the Islanders or the fucking Devils, Jersey's not much better, or the Kings or the Sharks or the Ducks or Seattle. If you play for the fucking Kraken, like look, those are massively heavily taxed, left-leaning blue states, as they say. Yeah. They're very heavily taxed there. Like, why aren't you complaining about those states? Why aren't you saying anything about them? No, it's only the states that don't have the income tax. Well, if you want to compete, if you think Florida and Texas and Tennessee have too much of an advantage of getting players down there, the good players to come down there because, hey, man, we don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to have any of that stuff. You know what you could do? Hey, Ontario, tax-free, baby. You got no Ontario tax to pay. Why don't we do that? But again, just other. This is the thing. You Canadians out there. Listen, I for a very long time consider myself probably partly Canadian because I love curling, I love hockey, I love cold weather, snow, ice, I love poutine, Canadian bacon, Canadian women, love it all. It's fantastic. Canadian beer, fantastic.
Hortons coffee.
Tim Hortons, absolutely, big Tim Hortons guy. Better than listen. I know that would make me sound like a traitor to say that Tim Hortons is better than Dunkin' Donuts, but Tim Hortons is better than Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry, it is. But you guys always talk about how you guys, we're always polite, but we're tough. They always bring up the fact that the Geneva Conventions were made basically for them and how they fought in World War I and World War II, which is fairly accurate. They were fucking savages. But that was Canadians of the past. You Canadians of today complaining about, well, we can't go get hockey players because the Florida doesn't have the income tax. That's not fair. Y'all are soft. Yes, I'm saying it. Canada and the Canadians, you're all soft. You're all softy boys. That's why you haven't won the cup in 31 years, soon to be 32 years. Because you're fucking soft. You're a bunch of soft maple syrup sucking fucknuts. That's all you are. And until you decide to buck up and knuck up and get some balls, that's how I'm going to think about you. Little soft maple syrup boys. Oh, little pudgy dough boys. I'm going to imagine you as little Tim Hortons, little Timbits, the little donut holes. That's what you're going to be like the Michelin Man, just made up of little Timbits. All little maple flavored little soft dough boys. That's you. That's you, Canada. That's what all you Canadians look like to me now. There you go. So yeah, I think the Panthers are, unless something drastic happens now, unless Stuart Skinner turns into Martin Brodeur, I don't see Edmonton coming back from this. But yeah, so I got that. And what do you think, as far as at least for Game 4, and then how the rest of the series goes? Do you think Edmonton can come back in Game 4? Can they split it down in Florida?
If they don't make this like a Game 1 or Game 2, like a competitive game, it's over for Edmonton. if they could, even if they lose and it's close and it's competitive, I think it's
Yeah,
still
if they lose,
goes-
it's a 3-1 series. Like, ooh. Now again, I believe they came back from 3-1 last year to force a
Yeah.
Game 7. So there's that. But man, oh man.
But I got the Panthers.
I got the Panthers
this
too.
upcoming game.
Yeah, I got the Panthers. I think they'll make it 3-1. All right. So before we get out of here, I just want everybody to remember you can hit that like, share, subscribe button. 3 free things. You can do that for us right here. It helps us out tremendously. If you like us, helps us with the algorithm. If you hit that share button with everybody else that's out there that you know on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your Tinder. I don't give a fuck where you fucking send us to. Or on your Grinder. Listen, this is Pride Month. Love is love. Whatever you want to do. Share us wherever you can. However you want to. TikTok, Xing Chang, Hong Ha Chang. The lovely Chinese app. I know that's a little racist, probably. Again, we need for you to get us to the monetization level so that we can get demonetized.
Exactly.
So wherever you want to share us, however you want to share us, go ahead and please do that. Helps us out tremendously. Boy, that clip's gonna come back. I did the Chinese. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Somebody's gonna pick that apart and come back and like, are sports podcasts too racist? He's also very disparaging towards Canadians. He calls them 51sters. Has entertainment gone too far? But yes, like, share, subscribe. Helps us out tremendously. Thank you so much. Again, if you want to help us out in a little more direct fashion, we have the donation station and our merch store. Link is in the top of the chat and in the description below this video. Jimbo, final thoughts before we get out of here. I got to get ready. It's White People Taco Night, so I'm excited. But yes, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts, not to get you back onto the Canadian rant, but
Okay.
Thank you, Gary Bettman, for putting Paul Bissonnette in his place about the whole state tax thing. Where was this argument when Florida sucked for 17 years?
Very true. Very true. The Panthers were a joke. And listen, it wasn't too long. Like for the Tampa Bay Lightning, they had that one run with Dave Andreychuk in 2003 where they won the Stanley Cup. But outside of that, and then their run winning their 2 cups and being in 3 Stanley Cup Finals, they were not much better. Like the Tampa Bay Lightning were kind of a joke as well. So this idea that, I agree. And thank you, Gary. Again, as I've gotten older, the more I've grown to appreciate Gary Bettman and what he's done for the NHL. I actually think he's probably the best commissioner in sports as it stands. Now, granted, whenever you see him bringing out the cup, you're going to boo when you say Bettman sucks. That's just tradition at this point.
Naturally, yeah.
It's kind of like when you say John Cena sucks at wrestling. Even if you like John Cena, you still say it because it's just tradition. It's what you do.
And one last thing is TJ Oshie.
Yes. Congratulations on that, by the way. Oh yeah, we didn't touch on Money in the Bank. I will touch on this though. WWE. We all had a hope when we were watching Money in the Bank. We all had an idea of what could happen, what might happen. You didn't disappoint. You didn't disappoint at all.
Are you referencing to what I think you're referencing to?
If you think I'm referencing the fact that
the ladder
Stephanie
match?
Vaquer gave Rhea Ripley the devil's kiss on the ladder, and the cameraman was positioned in just the right spot. Thank you, WWE. You're fantastic, and we love you. I bet some people out there were maybe thinking I was talking about R-Truth coming back and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Great swerve. Wonderful work. They worked everybody. They got it right.
I don't know, but okay.
But that was...
And kudos to, you gotta give Rhea credit too, because she knew she had to hop up there, but okay.
Yeah, she positioned herself very well.
I'm getting a little excited.
She framed it very well.
We probably should leave now.
Before we get into any more trouble, between me doing terrible Chinese imitations and talking about wrestling moves here, until next time. Next week, countdown starts. We're getting ready for that.
Tuesday.
We'll do it. We're going to have to record on Monday, but do it on Tuesdays because, Tuesdays, again, because of the scheduling thing. So I can't do live. We're not doing live Tuesdays. But we will be.
okay.
Yeah. See, no. Jimbo forgot. Jimbo.
It's been 6 months.
It's been 2 weeks since okay, sorry. I got into boy, when I say I have ADHD, I really do. I just fucking go off. Anyway, God, I can't end this. It just doesn't end. It never ends. For your good friend Jimbo, my name is King. This has been Stay Tuned Sports. We'll see you later, everybody. Adios.